A Lonely Place to Die.
Lonely Place to Die, which is described as a Julian Gilby film. I think it's a Julian Gilby film. It's like unfilmed Julian Gilby.
Is that supposed to
register somewhere? Well, no, it's just, I mean, he did Rise of the Foot Soldier before, and I think that, I don't know, I just think directed by is the kind of credit. I think that whole idea of a Terry Gilliam film, a David Lynch film, maybe. But anyway, story is, it's got it's a very sort of exciting landscape. You see people climbing up mountains, Scottish Highlands, great landscape. Once they're up on the top of these mountaintops, they hear a noise and they find a child buried under the ground in a sort of box with a pipe. Terrible thing, don't understand what she's saying. They think we'll get her to hospital, but then they discover that in fact behind them are these lethal hitmen who are involved in the kidnapping, and behind them there's a sort of warlord. It's one of those really interesting films when at the beginning, it stars Melissa George, who I like very much. Melissa George, who was a sort of the mainstay of Triangle, really held that film together really, terrifically. And it's one of those films at the beginning you think, actually, I think this is going to pan out rather well. The scenery is very good. It's got a kind of a forward momentum. It's quite tense and taut, and the performances are well put. They've thought it out. It is also one of those films that then blows it. Unfortunately, once they get out of that initial setting and they then move into what I think can only be described as a sort of sub-Wicker Man pagan parade, things do fall apart. But there's for a good half of its running time, it's actually impressive and taut and tense, and in all the ways that and I think it's an indication of how well it did what it did well, that when it disappointed me, I was kind of bothered that it had disappointed me. I mean, I think he's clearly a talented filmmaker, and I think Melissa George is a very, very fine lead actress, and she's obviously done a lot of work in the genre recently, and she's very good. I wanted it to follow through, and when it dropped the ball at the end, I was kind of slightly disappointed. But there is, for the beginning of it, there is a sort of taut, tense, well shot. It's a nice setup. It doesn't complete, I think.